All right, let's ride. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles now. I'm Chase Senior. Hope everybody out there is having a great start to your week and you're coming off a fulfilling weekend. Coming up on today's show, some major Eagles free agency buzz, and we're going to begin with LJarius Sneed. Does the Chiefs stud cornerback want to be a Philadelphia Eagle? Why it all adds up to me? Well, first of all, you canvassed this Philadelphia Eagles roster last year, just a disaster on the defensive side of the football, especially in that secondary. Howie Roseman is not an idiot. He understands that the Eagles need to upgrade at corner. I'm fine with Darius Slay. I thought he played good football. I want to see what he looks like for a full season with an actual healthy knee. Other than that, though, opposite of Darius Slay, I'd love to see Philadelphia ink LJarius Sneed to a long-term contract so that you have that position locked down while still also having some really good young options. Keely Ringo popped to me. Eli Ricks. You cut Avonte Maddox post-June 1, you free up about $7 million. This is a deep cornerback draft class as well, and for me, I look at cornerback like I do edge rusher. You can never have enough, especially in a pass-happy, pass-laden National Football League in 2024. Number two, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to give Chris Jones a bag. They're going to have to address other positions on that roster, like wide receiver. They've been linked to some of the big ones, like Mike Evans. Kansas City has a fantastic defense. Trent McDuffie is an emerging star. Could Kansas City do what they did with Charvarius Mooney-Ward? Young, ascending player, was an impact player for them, helped them win a Super Bowl. Then the Niners gave him $14 million per. They let him walk. LJarius Sneed is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $15+ million. They have some other players in the wings who they're currently developing and reaping big dividends from and getting good results from, and they're really sound at all three levels, defensive line, linebacker, and in that secondary. So do they let LJarius Sneed walk? And with the salary cap increasing to $255 million, what does that equal? More financial flexibility for Howie Roseman, more money at his disposal to address arguably the biggest position of need for this Eagles team in the 2024 offseason. Now, why am I talking about Sneed wanting to be a Philadelphia Eagle? Well, it came from the man himself. He's the source of this talking point. He posted on Instagram with the emoji being the eagle, and he's coming out of the tunnel. Fly like an eagle, win a Super Bowl. That's what I'm talking about, man. Why do you post that if you don't want to be a Philadelphia Eagle? It doesn't make any sense outside of him looking ahead to the free agency period, second week of March, and Howie Roseman giving him a bag. Sneed, coming off an all-pro caliber season, was not named an all-pro, but I love the traits that he brings to the football field. Jamming opposing wide receivers at the line of scrimmage. He threw off Deebo Samuel in the Super Bowl. He did the same thing with Brandon Ayuk. He did an awesome job in the wild card round against Tyreek Hill, getting up in their grill right from the jump. 78 tackles, 14 pass breakups, 2 picks, 1 forced fumble. Some of the athleticism traits that he brings to the field. Long arms, as you can see with the photo right here. Good range, good closing speed, very good ball awareness. Only gave up a completion percentage, and he was targeted a lot in 2023. A 51.9%, only gave up 406 yards, 0 touchdowns surrendered in coverage, those 14 PBUs and the 2 picks, and then that extraordinarily good passer rating allowed of 55.9. Further stats on him. Why I am willing to take a chance on a player like this. Comes into the league, 4th round pick, and since he got drafted, it's just been a steady path upward, like the Apple and Netflix stock. Just continued growth and development. Played in a great defensive scheme under Steve Spagnuolo, and he can do the same thing with Vic Fangio. Has inside-outside versatility where he started as a nickel, now is thriving on the perimeter. That's where you get paid the big-time dollars. Vic Fangio always asks a lot out of his cornerbacks because he'll put you on an island expecting that if we're paying you, if you're a quality player, you're going to be able to hold up against some of the top wideouts in the game, which is what Sneed proved to do consistently putting that on tape in 2023 en route to the Super Bowl. And to go back to my original talking point, Sneed and Slay, I'm in. The biggest weakness on this Eagles roster then turns into a strength. So let's hear from everybody watching right now down in the comments section. And if you're fired up about this, let me know. Should the Eagles sign LJarius Sneed? S for sign, E for too expensive. You'd rather invest that money toward edge rusher or a different position. Let me know down in the comments. Programming alert, in case you missed it last week, I did announce that we got to 72,000 subscribers, so the bosses are sending me to the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni are going to speak with the media tomorrow. We'll bring you those interviews right here on the show. Of course, I'll have a lot of takeaways and thoughts, and this is a great marketing event where you can chop it up with other people who cover the NFL. You get some feelers and some sources out there who are going to give us some free agency intel, and of course, we're going to be talking with a lot of draft prospects who are going to be meeting with Philadelphia. Subscribe. Don't want to miss our coverage. Also, don't miss out with Prize Picks, the largest independently run daily fantasy sports app in North America, and the best deal that any DFS app has to offer. $100 deposit match at prizepicks.com/CLNS, and make sure you use the code CLNS. Football season may be over, but the action on the floor is heating up. Whether it's tournament season or the fight for playoff home court, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of year. Get in on the excitement with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. But you know what? Producer Jack, big seam head guy. I also love baseball, and now that baseball is around the corner, we're cooking with gas right here. Mookie Betts, let's go more than 32.5 home runs for the entire 2024 season. And Manny Machado, he elected to not sign with the Philadelphia Phillies. Bryce Harper did. A franchise-altering move for the Philadelphia Phillies, and he's kind of been an inconsistent player for the San Diego Padres. Let's go less than 30.5 home runs. As the great Harry Kalas once said, as the Phillies won the 2008 World Series, Manny, my fanny. Daily Fantasy Sports made easy. Pick 2 or more players. Choose more or less on the projected stat lines, and you could win big-time money with Prize Picks. $100 deposit match. prizepicks.com/CLNS. Some baseball picks for you, but of course, you can go the NBA route, college basketball as well. Get in on the action with Prize Picks. Let's round out the show with some more juicy free agency buzz. Could the Eagles sign Raiders running back Josh Jacobs? Philadelphia listed as one of the favorites to land and sign the free agent running back. You look at the next team odds for the 2022 leading rusher in the National Football League. His return to the Raiders, plus 400. Eagles, 5-1 odds, meaning you put $1 down, you get $5 back. And then Cowboys, also plus 500 odds. Here's my thing when we talk about the Eagles addressing the running back position this offseason. If Philadelphia is interested in signing a running back, why don't they just bring back the player who's been the best Eagles running back since LaShawn McCoy, who was on this team last year, who had a career year in DeAndre Swift and is still young and doesn't have the workload of Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is an accomplished back in this league. First-round pick by John Gruden back in the day for the Raiders, and he's been really good. The 2022 season was very special for him. Led the NFL in rushing yards, 340 totes, more than 1,600 yards, 12 touchdowns. He wanted a long-term deal from Las Vegas. He didn't get it, so he didn't join the team until late, and because of that, numbers went down. Also, games went down to 13. I still thought he had the athleticism, the speed, and the burst at moments, but 233 carries, more than 100 less than what he had the season prior, and naturally, the rushing yards went down by double, 6 touchdowns, as he's still a very good red zone and goal line back. What I don't love about this is the up and down nature of his career. Good season, bad season. Good season, bad season. Now for Philadelphia, you sign him. He's coming off a bad year. Does he have a good year for the Eagles in 2024? I don't love the up and down trajectory of that. I also don't like the price tag that a player like Josh Jacobs is going to demand when the Eagles could just go the route of DeAndre Swift, who I think is going to be cheaper and a better option. For the first time in his career, Swift ran for more than 1,000 yards, and this coming with the Brian Johnson offense that didn't run the football enough. He didn't stick with the run enough. DeAndre Swift had more than 20 carries only twice throughout the entire 2023 campaign. That is an issue, yet still an explosive back. Good cutback ability. Really good combination of finesse, power, and speed. 229 carries, more than 1,000 yards. I also like the dual threat aspect to Swift's game, which Jacobs doesn't always have. And under Kellen Moore, I think that could be glorified a little bit more. Like, you look at the running and the receiving numbers throughout Swift's career, look how much the receiving yards went down in 2023 as compared to what he did with the Detroit Lions. Kellen Moore is not going to ignore the special components to the game of DeAndre Swift. So I'm bringing him back, and what I would do, look into Swift at a good rate. I'm re-signing him to a multi-year deal because I don't think he's going to break the bank. I would also draft a running back on day 2 or day 3. It is not a top-heavy running back class. Like, there's not a good one like last year where you're looking at Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs, both of whom went in the first round, both of whom went inside the top 13, right? But on day 2, day 3, I think you can get a quality back like a Blake Corum, who's not a 3-down back, great culture fit, good scheme fit, and a dual threat back who I think could impact the game from year 1. That's what I'm doing if I'm Howie Roseman and company. My team building philosophy, it's like Howie's, right? Never pay too much for a running back because you can find quality ones for cheaper. They don't last long. You can find quality backs in the draft to kind of reset that running back clock a little bit. You know that you're going to have them under team control for 4 years. So pick a back. Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift. JJ, DS, let me know. Also, make sure you give me a follow on X and Instagram. A lot of short-form content going out over there. And during a week like the Super Bowl, during a week like the NFL Scouting Combine, going to be putting a lot of content out there. Super Bowl stuff took off. Interviews with Jordan Mailata, Britton Covey, which was the biggest storyline in Philadelphia for a couple of days. And hopefully we break some more news in Indy.